Hi everybody, it's your girl Sam. How you all doing? Hope that you guys doing great, and I hope that you guys finally ready to come back to school or work. And welcome to the final season of We Are Proud. I cannot actually believe that I'm saying it, and I cannot actually believe that we come all the way to the end. It has been a credible journey. It has been a long journey, but it has been fun as well, and it has been magical as well. It has been wonderful, and the most important is that we all are so grateful for your feedbacks, because of that we are progressively learning more and more, and we're getting new knowledge so we can bring that a little bit later in our lives. So thank you so much for that. And guys, even though it's the last season, don't feel completely sorry, because in a few months we're actually going to come out with a new artbook called Standard. More about it, link down below. Alright, that being said, let's get into this week's episode, shall we? Who will decide that I'm Norwegian? At least in person on the internet doesn't, said Kari. I was born and raised in Norway, a Norwegian citizen or felt Norwegian. That's why I called myself Norwegian. Both of my parents are admitted born in Iraq, but I don't think that will make me less Norwegian. For a Norwegian can have his story and root through all over the world, and being Norwegian gave me so much into recently. I have thought of this as a simple truth in life. Of course, I have sometimes experienced prejudiced statements and actions. Individuals treat me like non-Norwegian because of my skin color, like when people talk English to me on the mountain, or the time around lunch table when a colleague talked about robbery and took a break. Look at me, ask me if I knew what robbery meant. Disgusting feeling it is. What happened to him happened to many others who are ethnic Norwegian with foreign parents. What is actually the reason for it? One thing that is at least important to be concrete about is that not entirely Norwegian society behave it that way. There are some groups of people who have difficulty to accept people with different backgrounds than themselves. So what does it really take to become ethnic Norwegian? Does it have to be specific requirements that you have to implement? Well, there might be some kind of requirements which I doubt. But I both think and believe that being Norwegian is not the nationality that is in the passport, but the feeling. Factors such as skin color, ethnic, faith, and name has a lot to say if you're proud to be Norwegian. And that if you feel and you can speak, then you are Norwegian, no matter where everything screams the opposite of what you are. Others have an idea that Norwegian are white in the skin, but in their own daily lives there are plenty of exceptions. I'm pretty sure you all have heard the sentence, no, but where you actually from? Because you're not from here based on your look. Only that sentence become a reaction and feeling of alienation, even though you're born in this country or you have citizenship. Before moving on, let's take 5, shall we?
The advertisement is presented by 4 by Women. 4 by Women is an organization based on women's rights when it comes to inclusion, society, diversity, and management in the business world. For more information, feel free to check out on Facebook, Instagram, or feel free to contact us on all platforms. Until next time.
Can everyone become Norwegian? That question created confusion and frustration for many people, especially on young people. I strongly believe that you can become Norwegian. I think that is matter of course that a person who participates in the Norwegian society should be able to describe themselves as Norwegian. But I also think that is a kind of tricky question because it can actually have different meanings and different point of view to different people. Because ethnicity is about culture, race is about biology, and everyday speech they're often using interchangeable, and many perceive ethnicity as a question of skin color. But ethnicity is really about what society you belong to based on language, value, and etc. Let's take an example. For example, if you were adopted from Asia as a small child and grown up in a culture completely Norwegian, then you are by definition ethnic Norwegian, even though it might sound strange. When we are talking about ethnic Norwegian and the differences, etc., it is a few things that I think we should talk about. The west side and the east side. And the report different in Oslo, a city for many, but not for few. At the international in central Oslo. The statistics present for income, wealth, housing, segregation, school, poverty, and work life. Overall, the figure gives a clear picture that the differences in Oslo are too great, and to show that Oslo is a white city. The population on the west side has average high income and more wealth, large housing, better school result, low unemployment, and less poverty than the street on the east side. As I mentioned, Oslo has been a divided city for a really long time. Some has leading to the differences increase. The differences in the population do something with us. It's dangerous for the society. When the differences increase in a way, it is in Oslo that are not the best. A society with a great difference have more crime and less sense of community. A society with small differences is something anyone beneficial from. Let's take a quick example when it comes to housing policy. Ethnicity minority has a great problem finding housing in a large city where the short age of house are so great. The market discrimination against ethnicity minority complicates the situation for many. It's the main goal of the integration policy that those who receive residence and settlement permit as soon as possible become an active citizen. Consider that Oslo is the divided city. Many believe that has led to ghetto. As a result of the increased immigration in the certain decades, the emergence of so-called ghetto is now well discussed. Such ghetto discussions are more often about concern the immigrants in a certain area of the city, where they eventually gain the upper hand. This can lead to extreme legislation of social problems and not least to a low integration of immigration. Although those real challenges, there are also another aspect of settlements in Oslo that totally neglect the settlement of the rich. For in Oslo is far more described to talk about gold rather than traditional ghetto. The income elite is really poorly integrated, and none of the people in Oslo. A ghetto is a sense area strong marketed by citation with a clear ethnic base, but it also naked to number of other factors. Concentration of property, overcrowded, sky-high crime, and general really poor condition for growing up are all the common ghetto components. But what do you think? What is your opinion about this? And guys, I hope that you guys learned something new. If not, I hope that you guys felt the same thing as I felt. And remember, it is not any requirements to be at this Norwegian. It's just only the world that wants us to rely on the means and the rules. That's just how it is. We know how terrible this world is, and you know how people are now these days, and that's just the way it is. So I want you guys to rely only on yourself. Thank you guys so much for listening to this month's episode. You guys can follow us on all social platforms, including Google Podcasts and Apple Podcasts as well. And I'll see you guys in next month's episode. Until next time.